We take you live now to Barrie, where Premier Doug Ford and his Labour Minister are making an announcement.
I want to acknowledge and welcome Stephanie, thank you, and Sandy, and Councillor Clark. You're doing a great job. I always say councillors have the toughest job anywhere. They're on the front doorsteps, and I walked a mile in your shoes, so thank you for that. As well as representatives from some of our province's construction associations, and a big thank you to Mike, Dave, and everyone at the International Union of Operating Engineers, and Rick and your team from the Operating Engineers Training Institute of Ontario for hosting us. And boy, does that looks fabulous, that building there. I can't wait to come and cut the ribbon. The operating engineers have been amazing partners to our government, helping to train the next generation of crane and heavy equipment operators. And we're so proud to support your new state-of-the-art training facility, which will train another 1,600 workers right here on this site. You know, I have this fascination with excavators. I own a backhoe, so I think I got to come by, Mike, and get some training myself. I just love hopping behind those big pieces of equipment. Okay, that's good. This new facility is going to be incredible. I can't wait to come back when it's finished. And friends, I also want to give a big shout out to all the apprentices here today. Guys, thank you. I'll be back to say hello to you in a minute. These are the future builders that are going to be building our hospitals and our schools, and 413 and Bradford Bypass, and the list goes on and on and on. We like to say, when you have a job in the skilled trades, you have a job for life. Our skilled trade workers are the backbone of this province, and you only need to look at our skylines to see it. With more cranes than other jurisdictions and more cranes than any city combined in North America, we're building like we've never had before. In fact, we have more than 200 cranes in Toronto, matter of fact, 221 to be exact, and then just as many in the GTA, more than, again, all of the U.S. states combined. Commercial, residential, and mixed-use projects are springing up across the province. At the same time, our government has embarked on the most ambitious capital plan in Canadian history. We're investing over $190 billion over the next 10 years. Together, we're building new subways, roads, highways, hospitals, schools, long-term care homes, energy and municipal water projects. But as I always say, we can't build if we don't have the workers. That's why, as Minister Piccini mentioned, we're investing $1.4 billion in our Skills Development Fund, which is on track to train more than 1 million people, including more than 20,000 workers in Oro Medonte and Barrie. That's why today I'm pleased to announce that we're launching the next round of funding for the Skills Development Fund Capital Stream. This new round includes $74 million to help labor groups, Indigenous centers, business and industry organizations, and others build new training facilities or modernize and expand existing ones. Thank you. These new facilities, this is where workers can learn new skills. This second round also includes an enhanced streamlined application process and a new seed pathway to help with the upfront cost of developing construction proposals, such as design drawings and technical plans. And as a further improvement, the capital stream will now accept funding proposals all year round, which will allow for faster application reviews. Friends, this new round of funding builds on the tremendous success of the previous rounds. It will help thousands of workers across the province find better jobs with bigger paychecks for them and their families. It will help attract new investments and help us build the homes, schools, hospitals, highways, and other critical infrastructure that the region needs, that the province needs. Let's keep working together to build Ontario. Thank you again for inviting me for the groundbreaking, and thank you all for joining us today, and may God bless the people of Ontario. Thank you so much.
We will now open the floor for questions from the media. Please come to the mic and state your name and outlet. Just a reminder, the format today is one question and one follow-up. First reporter.
Morning, Premier. Lane Harrison, CBC News.
Hi.
First question is about the statement that you put out this morning regarding our trade with our southern neighbors. With all due respect, obviously you're the Premier, not the Prime Minister, so I'm curious why you felt it was necessary to wade into international politics with this statement.
Well, as I did before, it was the federal government that sent me down to negotiate with Bob Lighthizer, and since we're the engine of Canada and 95% of all the jobs that were created just last month were here in Ontario, we'd be the third largest trading partner in the world to the United States if we were a standalone country, which I never recommend. We do $500 billion a year in two-way trade. We're the #1 export destination to 17 states and #2 to 11 other states. So do we have a stake in this? 1,000%, more than any other jurisdiction. And we're going to continue to lead. I've talked to all 13 premiers across the country. But here's the difference, folks. You know, you look at Mexico, they're importing cheap products, undercutting our hardworking men and women, not only here, but in the U.S., from China. They're slapping a Made in Mexico sticker on and shipping it up and taking our hardworking men and women jobs away from them. Unacceptable. So we're doing, Ontario alone does $500 billion. Mexico, we do $40 billion. And guess what? They import $36.5 billion into our country. So they export 36.5 out of 40, and we export $2.5 billion. It's ridiculous. And they're undercutting the market. So what I'm proposing to the federal government, we do a bilateral trade deal with the U.S., and if Mexico wants a bilateral trade deal with Canada, God bless them. But I'm not going to be drawn down with these cheap imports taking men and women's jobs from hardworking Ontarians.
And you and your health minister have repeatedly called the home care supply problems unacceptable, but they're still continuing, and it's been weeks. One home care doctor told us he's still hearing about issues every day. Why can your government still not fix this problem?
Well, again, we're working day and night to fix this problem, and we're getting the supplies out there. I think there's a very, very small percentage, but I can guarantee you I am all over this. And this will be corrected. And the people, by the way, that have messed this up, they're going to be held accountable.
And one more for you. My first was from CTV, so it's my second CBC question. This is for you and Minister Downey, but I'm hoping you can touch on it first before passing it to him. We often hear your government talking about being tough on crime, toughening bail to keep people behind bars, but there's another big issue in this province. More than half of criminal cases never even get to trial because the court delays are too long. Why have you not done more to fix this, Premier, first?
Well, I'll pass this over to the Attorney General.
Thank you for the question. And, you know, no government has done more in terms of resourcing at every single level. When we came into government, court staff were being paid hourly, and if court collapsed in 3 hours, they went home in 3 hours. You couldn't build a professional workforce on that. We've offered full-time employment with benefits and otherwise to get our staffing up. We've added a historic 25 net new judges to the complement, and that has never happened in the history of Ontario. We're in the process of doing the screening from the committee and the recommendations to us to get those in seats. But along with each judge comes a complement of staff. And so in addition to those 25 judges, there are hundreds, literally hundreds, of Crown prosecutors, victim service workers, and all the support staff that you would need to operate efficiently. We've recently opened the new state-of-the-art courthouse downtown Toronto with 73 courtrooms, 63 plus 10 meeting rooms. So we're building the capacity, but you have to acknowledge that what we inherited was fallow ground. They invested nothing. They did nothing. And now we are playing catch up. But at the same time, we're not doing it alone. We're asking the federal government to come forward, do bail reform, get tougher on crime, minimum mandatory sentences, and other things so that when somebody comes into a courtroom, if they're guilty, it actually matters.
Hi there, Alan Hale from the Trillium.
Hi, Al.
The Liberal leader Bonnie Crombie has promised to fulfill a promise that you made but haven't implemented yet, a tax cut for middle-income earners. Do you plan to fulfill that promise before the next election, or are you going to run another election without fulfilling that promise?
Well, let's just compare our records. Bonnie Crombie gave the people of Mississauga the largest tax increase in the history of Mississauga. I know my good friend Hazel's probably spinning around right now because they actually shrunk Mississauga in a population boom because people were moving out because of the high taxes. Bonnie Crombie, her announcement today, won't even give you a fraction back of what we're giving back to the people in January, the rebate check of $200. She wants to put the tolls back on 412 and 418. We took them off. She wants to bring back the gas tax that we reduced 10.7 cents a liter. She wants to go full tilt on the carbon tax that's going to increase on April the 1st to 20 cents a liter. She's the carbon tax queen. She wants to bring back the stickers on the back of the vehicles. Again, taking more money out of your pockets. Bonnie Crombie has never seen a tax she doesn't like. She destroyed Mississauga. She wants to destroy Ontario, but they're going to have a very clear choice. Either vote for a government that's creating opportunities, creating jobs, getting people trained, building infrastructure right across this province, putting that money back into people's pockets, and making sure that we're prudent fiscal managers. It's a very clear choice to the people of Ontario. It's tax you to death under Bonnie Crombie, or make sure you vote for the PCs and we'll put money back in your pocket that we've been doing. Every single month we're coming out with announcements that's cutting the red tape and putting money back into people's pockets. On top of that, she's already come out publicly and said she will give all 444 municipalities taxing powers. So let's just continue to tax the people to death, Bonnie Crombie believes. We don't believe that. We've only government in the history of this country that has never, ever raised a tax. And I can tell you, we will never, ever raise a tax.
You've mentioned a couple times a court case involving the region of Waterloo where they involving their ability to evict encampments. But that court decision only forbids municipalities from evicting homeless encampments if there's no other housing for them available in the community.
Yep.
So if you're going to use the notwithstanding clause to circumvent this case and allow municipalities to evict people when there's nowhere else for them to go, where are you expecting them to go? Are you going to send them to mental hospitals against their will?
No, actually, we won't be sending them to the mental hospitals against their will, but thank you for that accusation. But what we are going to do, continue investing in that, but I tell you who should be going into some mental hospitals, I won't say. But anyways, we're going to invest $700 million, which we have right across the province, on top of the $600 million where we see the real problem in the city of Toronto. So we're funding homeless like this province has never seen before. I believe in helping people get on their feet. But what I don't believe in, how about the rights of the property owners? How about the rights when they squat in your park and have needles all over the place? Crime goes up in the neighborhood. I've experienced it in my riding, and they're seeing it right across the province. David Piccini sees it in his riding as well, and I'm sure Doug Downey sees it in their riding. You can't just all of a sudden camp in someone's backyard. It's unacceptable. So we're going to make sure we find proper shelter for these people. We're going to support any municipality that goes to court. And as for Waterloo, I talked to the Chair Redmond, yesterday regarding that. And again, I believe they're going to challenge it one more time, the courts. It's the wrong decision. Do you know when the courts decide? When all of a sudden encampment falls in place right outside a judge's house. You'll see how quickly people change their minds on that. If it's not in their backyard, they don't worry about it. But I can tell you, it's all over the place.
Hi, Premier. I'm Madison Fitzpatrick on behalf of Rogers TV and City News.
Hi, Madison.
On the topic of Bonnie Crombie, you say that you won't raise taxes, but why not cut them? She says you're wasting money during backroom deals and one-time $200 rebate checks.
Yeah, well, why don't we cut them? Well, let me just run through the list once again. We did the largest gas tax cut in the history of this country, 10.7 cents. Bonnie Crombie wants to bring back the 10.7 cents. I'm against the carbon tax that in April 1st is going to bring it 20 cents a liter. She's the queen of carbon tax. She's all for the carbon tax. I'm against the carbon tax. She wants to bring back the stickers on the back of the vehicle. I'm against that. I believe in putting money back into people's pockets. She's against getting rid of the tolls on the 412 and 418 for the great folks up in Durham, that saving them thousands of dollars a year. She wants to bring tolls back. You know, with the one fare, saving people $1,600, they can hop on a GO train in Barrie, go downtown, hop on the TTC, go out to, let's say, Peel Region somewhere on one fare, saving people $1,600 a year. She wants to scrap that. She wants to increase taxes for the residents through the cities, letting the cities tax the death out of people. People are fed up. What doesn't Bonnie Crombie understand? There's an affordable crisis issue right now. Taxing people does not work. That's all the Liberals know how to do is tax. They destroyed and bankrupt our province. Under the Liberals, 300,000 jobs were chased out of this province. Companies were leaving in the droves. Let's move forward, 6 years. And there's 860,000 more people working today than under the Liberal government. And we're going to continue building more opportunities for people, more companies coming here. Last month, just think of this. Last month and last year, Ontario manufacturers created more manufacturing jobs than all 50 U.S. states combined. We have become an economic powerhouse around North America, and as long as we're in office, we're going to continue creating jobs, putting money back into people's pockets, and making sure that everyone in the world knows what an economic powerhouse Ontario is.
Thank you for that answer. And
we've been listening to Premier Doug Ford making an announcement in Barrie alongside his Labour Minister, also taking several questions from reporters.